Hi, I'm Brent Johnson, and it's a rainy spring day out here. It's a little too wet to get to the studio, so I'm just going to do this here. Summer is on the way, though. The AGO regional conventions are coming up this summer. Instead of having 6 little ones all over the country this year, however, they have 2 big ones. One of them's in Phoenix, Arizona, and the other is in Fort Worth, Texas, and that's where we just came from. We're going to be visiting some of the instruments that will be part of this convention coming up this summer, including the biggest instrument we've featured to date. You won't want to miss that. Jordan Smith is the convention chair, and he joined me at the console of Carr Chapel in Texas Christian University. Now, this is a Ross King instrument. Now, sadly, something didn't quite go right, and I am here without the video from that tour of the organ. It's frustrating to put out 2 videos back to back that have problems. The amazing thing is these videos were shot 2 months apart, so they're unrelated problems. This one just came about mostly because I was a little short-handed on this trip. The rest of the trip went fine, though, and we've got lots of great videos that'll be coming out. But let's take a look at this Ross King instrument. The audio is great, so put on your headphones, and I'll put the spec up for you to watch.
So this is a 1979 Ross King organ. Ross was a local Fort Worth builder, I believe, and it's this nameplate over here says 1979 Ross King, but it says incorporating the 1953 Reuter organ. Okay. So I'm not sure what all was included in that, so we might find out more when we go up into the chambers and explore a little bit. I do know maybe 8 to 10 years ago, the organ was updated again, I think also by Ross King, where the console was reconfigured a little bit. No pipework was added, but there was some reunification of the pipework that took
yeah,
place.
I see we have a Peterson ICS 1000 system over there. So definitely more modern than 79.
Right.
And the console looks like, yeah, it could be a 59 console that's been updated, but it blends in with the room really well. The organ's all in 2 chambers on either side of us. We have a swell side and then a great and positive, correct?
Swell and some of the pedal on that side, and then great, positive, and the rest of the pedal on this side.
Well, let's start over here on this side with the great division.
Sure.
Tell me what we have.
So the Borden that's here is just borrowed from the Swell, so we'll get to that a little bit later.
Okay.
There's a really nice 8-foot principal. Just really nice, warm sound.
It's got some edge to it, though, and part of it maybe we're right underneath it, but it's a nice warm sound. You're right, yeah.
Yeah, and then the 4-foot octave really brings it out.
Yeah, very nice.
And then the 2-foot super octave. Now a 4 to 6 rank mixture.
Very bright mixture, but it's not overwhelmingly loud or anything.
Right,
It packs the ensemble really well.
Yeah.
And sounds like 1979. Okay.
Yeah.
All right, and then
really beautiful concert flute. Maybe it's kind of a Melodia type sound.
lovely. Okay.
And then a really big crumb horn that's almost kind of like a...
That is big. I'm surprised it's on the grate. I would expect to find it on the positive.
Right, yeah, me too. It looks like it's always been on the grate, according to the OHS stop list from, I guess, 1979.
Okay.
So,
That's where someone wanted it.
And then some really loud chimes. That's on the middle volume. You can turn it up even more.
Well, you can't have a wedding chapel without nice, clear chimes.
That's right. Wedding bells. Yeah. So that's all for the great division.
That's the great. Okay.
A lot of couplers.
A lot of couplers added on. All right. Well, let's go down to the positive and stay on this side of the room. What do we have here?
Sure. 8-foot cadet.
Okay. That's Actually, a little more subtle than I was expecting. I was
Yeah.
expecting something more chipper and chiffier.
Chiffier, yeah.
Maybe
And
it's
then-
been modified a little bit. Who
Yeah,
knows?
yeah. And then 4-foot copple flute on top of that.
It's interesting. I want to hear the copple flute by itself.
Sure.
Okay, very colorful.
It really is, yeah. And then on top of all that, the Gims horn.
Yeah, that surprised me. You don't see a lot of 2-foot Gems horns, but you do see a lot of 2-foot flautinos, and they're usually just kind of Gems horns, except at 2 foot,
Right.
but they're not called that. And so
Right.
here we've actually called it a Gems horn,
Yeah.
but it sounds more stringy than your typical little flautino as well,
Right.
which is interesting. It's a Gems horn. Okay.
Yeah. And then a really nice sesquialter. We'll put that with the 8-4 first. With the 2-foot.
Yeah, gives you a nice solo sound there.
Yeah. And then Dulciana, which on the previous stop list says 8-foot Gems horn. And then a very bold festival trumpet.
Yeah. Again, you can't have a wedding chapel without a big trumpet fanfare.
That's right.
Voluntary
That's right.
trumpet there.
It does the job very well.
Yeah, indeed. Okay. All right, and that's everything on this side of the room besides pedal. So let's go to the swell. Tell me what we have here.
We have to start with a 16-foot Borden. Which has some really good weight to it. I believe the roar flute is derived out of that. And then viola da gamba. The Celeste.
Lovely. Closes down nicely.
Yeah.
Okay.
4-foot principal.
It's much milder compared to the great principles.
Yeah.
Interesting.
4-foot Knox horn.
Okay. Yeah, lovely.
The 2-foot Spitz flute may come from something else.
I could almost imagine that's the roar flute.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, okay. It's got that that same very colorful flutiness. It's the Borden has all that weight in the bottom, but then as it goes up, it gets more colorful.
Right, yeah.
And a little more peak. I guess the roar chimneys probably come into play somewhere in there, maybe.
Sure.
So okay.
2 2/3 with the 8.
It's a nice little flute chorus there. Could be a solo stop if
3 to 4
Right.
rank
Yes.
cymbal. Yeah, so maybe we'll
Yeah,
put that
that's
nice solo stop. The 8-foot roar flute, the 4-foot nocturne, and the 2-foot Spitz flute. Yeah, it's a really nice soft mixture.
Good smaller principal chorus there to your great. Okay. And then we have some reeds.
Yeah, so an 8-foot trumpet.
How does that blend with the chorus you just had on? Imagine when you can close that down and put that on top of your great chorus, you probably have quite the bright cap you can add to roar along with it. Okay.
Right, and this organ works really well with super and subcoupling. I mean, if you know what to take off when you're super coupling and things like that, it does do really well with that.
Okay. And then
we have an oboe.
That's a surprisingly loud oboe.
I'm told it was formerly a trumpet, maybe in a former life.
That would make more sense because the trumpet was not quite that loud.
Right.
I mean, closing it down, it's got the colors you would want out of an oboe. I'm just surprised. Okay. All right.
Here's the trumpet.
Yeah, I would expect the trumpet to jump out a little more at us, but it doesn't. So okay.
And then I believe the clarion is its own rank.
And that feels more like the volume level I would expect out of the 8-foot trumpet.
Right, right, yeah. So and then it does extend down to, I believe it's an electronic 16-foot extension of the oboe, which is the 16-foot bassoon.
Bottom of the oboe, 16 is a bassoon, is electronic.
Is electronic.
Okay.
Yeah. So all of those reeds together.
Okay, it's pretty convincing sound there.
Yeah.
All right. Okay, what do we have in the pedal then? That's
16-foot sub bass. Very large, yeah.
all right.
And I believe the 32-foot resultant comes from that.
Okay.
The 16-foot Borden from the Swell. The 8-foot Principal. Gedeckt, 8-foot. And then here's the 4-foot octave.
Is that the principal extended, maybe? No, it is
the same, yeah.
Maybe fooled me for a minute. It was so big, I couldn't.
Yeah. That's probably
It's over there.
Yes. And then a really nice, bold 16-foot bombard in the pedal, which I believe is in the Swell enclosure.
Okay.
And then the 16-foot bassoon, 8-foot trumpet, and 4-foot clarion are all borrowed from the Swell.
We'll start our tour over here on the great and positive side above the console. Into the side room here, and there's already a ladder set up with the hatch opened up. Going up the ladder, we find ourselves right at the base of the great chest. Our 2 foot, 4 foot, and crumb horn are there on the left, as well as the trumpet. And indeed, over on the right, that is a concert flute there. That's an open flute. It was marked traverse flute on the chest originally. And behind it, our very big 8 foot diapason. And then over here we see a mixture chest that was added sometime later. We're getting a better look at our trumpet, our crumb horn, and over here we can see the positive chest back in the back. Our very big mutations are 2 foot Gims horn, 4 foot koppel flute, 8 foot gedeckt. And then our pedal, 8 foot, is back there. It's big pipes, very big scaled. Getting around to the other side means we have to take the ladder down. Set it back up for the same sort of arrangement on the other side. And then here we come up into our 2 big chests in the Swell division. Decked for our flute, and we can find a Ross King branded ladder there. We see our trumpet and our oboe, which actually goes down to the bassoon, and this is the added 16 foot bombard. Stuffed in back here behind the chests. Continuing on down, there's a chest in the back which has our 4 foot flute, 4 foot principal, and then lower octaves of the oboe and the bassoon. And then the bottom octave of the bassoon is a skinny scaled thing back here with the relay in front of it. And individual swell shades powering metal covered shades. So there you have it. If you're interested in attending the Fort Worth AGO convention, that will be June 30th through July 3rd. There's information, a link to their website down below, as well as a link to the main AGO website. You don't have to be an organist to be a member of the AGO. Anybody can go to these conventions. Like I said, we'll have more videos from Fort Worth coming out soon, so make sure you're subscribed. Click the bell for notifications. I hope you're dry wherever you are. Until I see you next time, I'm Britt Johnson. Thanks for watching.